Well, Cal fans, I'm struggling with a bad cold today and haven't felt like I've had the energy I normally like to bring to the podcast. We were going to do a men's basketball episode after closing out the regular season strong, but the loss to Wake Forest took the wind out of our sails. So today we're doing our very first flashback episode, all the way back to episode 4, when we interviewed Admiral Bear and Callie Wake, two prominent members of the Calgorithm. Welcome to Tell the Whole Damn World. It's Monday, March 9th, 2026. The Cal baseball team has now won an astounding 11 games in a row, and it's another great day to be a Bear. I'm your host, Reza Serafinejad. We appreciate you tuning in. By now, I'm willing to bet you already know all about us. But if you don't, you can check out our trailer to learn more about who we are and what we're all about. And please take a moment to like, subscribe, and tell all your Cal friends about us. It helps grow our audience more than you know. You've heard all about the Calgorithm and may have read about it in the most recent California magazine. But what is it exactly? And who are some of the people behind it? Well, that's exactly what we'll learn more about in today's flashback episode that we did back in December 2024. Back then, when we were first starting up, we didn't have a very big audience. But I'm happy to report that we now have nearly 900 subscribers on YouTube, and we continue to grow each day as more and more Cal fans find out about us. If you haven't seen or listened to this episode yet, you really should. Also, be on the lookout for a standalone 3-minute Cal Sports report to cover what's happening in the world of Cal sports. Why 3 minutes? Because that's the maximum length you can make a video for it to qualify as a short on YouTube, and shorts get much wider distribution. We're also planning to release men's basketball-focused episodes with Eddie, Matt, and John after each game in the ACC tournament, so you can look forward to that later this week. Without further ado, I hope you enjoy this early episode where we spotlight Admiral Bear and Callie Wake and learn more about what the Calgorithm is all about. And please note that to protect their identities, we aren't showing their faces or revealing their real names. In our effort to bring you guests who inspire Cal fans all over the world, we are delighted to introduce you to two of the prominent people behind the Calgorithm. We are so fortunate to have both Admiral Bear and Callie Wake from the liberal Calgorithm on the show today. You can probably tell from my face, but I'm absolutely giddy about having the chance to get to know them both better. Callie was one of the first people who followed us during Big Game Week after we released our teaser episode, and she was kind enough to introduce us to Admiral Bear, who amazingly has posted nearly 25,000 Cal-related tweets. Their efforts have put Cal on the map in the world of social media, and it's not a stretch to say that we have them to thank for helping to bring college game day to Berkeley. Admiral Bear, Callie Wake, welcome to Tell the Whole Damn World.
Thank you for having us on. I'm really excited, big fan ever since you guys started, and I'm excited to be on the show already.
Yeah, thanks for having us, Reza. This is great.
We really appreciate you guys making the time. So right off the bat, what's your connection to Cal? And when did you first start developing memes and posting on Twitter?
My connection to Cal is my dad is an alum, and he's been taking me to games since I was 6 months old. So just throughout the prime Tedford era, I was every fall weekend, every fall Saturday, I was in Memorial Stadium watching, Aaron, Marshawn, Deshaun Jackson, all those folks tear it up on the field. And that got me in real deep. I ended up not going to Cal myself, but my dad and I still would occasionally go to games. And I've started picking up memes actually this year, just after the Auburn game, when everyone else had started posting memes and things were starting to go wild. It really just ignited my love for Cal again, and I jumped right in deep and made the Woke Mob Football or Liberal Calgorithm account, and I've been memeing ever since.
I am a Cal alum quite a while ago. I'm sort of one of the OGs of this thing. So I went to Cal during the Tom Holmoe era and stuck around. So love my Cal Bears, and it's become a really a way to stay connected with the university and with the community, and with the rise of the Calgorithm, it's become a friend group, and so it becomes a social thing and a community thing, and it's been a tremendous blessing to be a part of. As far as memeing goes, so I mean, I started posting about Cal athletics and Cal football in particular probably around 2004, 2005 on message boards. Back in the days of the Cyber Bears and the Bear Insider and the old Rivals boards. I was kind of a mainstay on those, and a lot of people will remember me from those days, and left that behind, sort of embraced Twitter as my main platform, left that behind at one point, and then I was kind of persuaded by the Right for California guys who I met in person at the Notre Dame game. And in particular, Namle sort of talked me into coming back to Twitter, and I did. And I'm really grateful that I had that conversation with him, because, you know, I wouldn't have been able to be a part of all of this had I stayed gone. It's great to be a part of this community, and I'm proud and blessed to call these people my friends.
It certainly seems like you guys have grown this to epic proportions from whatever it may have been before, which I don't think was really much. I mean, you pretty much put Cal on the map from a social media standpoint. It was interesting to note that Callie was there during the Tedford years, which were obviously outstanding. And then you come from the era of Tom Holmoe, and yet you both have this passion for Cal. That's really pretty interesting to think. Because if you were a fan and continue to be a fan after Holmoe.
Sure. Yeah. I mean, I was a student. I was in the student section for our 1-win season under Tom Holmoe, when we were campaigning for our punter to win the Heisman. And I still maintain that he should have. Nick Harris that guy was incredible. He was our best player.
He really was. I still cannot believe for the life of me that it's one of the most absurd stats in all of college football, I would think, that Tom Holmoe was here for 5 years, and in those 5 years, he won 16 games. And 5 of those wins were over USC and Oklahoma. We beat Oklahoma in Norman. We beat Oklahoma here. We beat USC 3 years in a row. 5 of those 16 wins were against those storied programs. That's really pretty incredible. But
it is, yeah. And very embarrassing for USC, which is delightful for us. So
yeah, that's always a joy to beat USC. Always
absolutely.
A joy. Yes.
So for those of you who may not know about the Calgorithm, can you briefly explain what it's all about and how it came to life?
So the Calgorithm, it was born of Cal Twitter. I mean, there certainly was a community, but it was pretty much just us. Nobody else really cared, but we had a good time together and would make up fun memes and laugh and whatever. But, it didn't get a lot of attention, didn't get a lot of traction. And that went on for a long time until leading up to the Auburn game. And then after we beat Auburn was when this thing really got on the map. I attribute that to some degree to the move to the ACC, because we were getting exposure in a whole new region, and the East Coast, I mean, for various reasons, really paid no attention to Cal football ever. And there's not we haven't given them that much reason to be fair, but so it was sort of them getting to know us getting to know them. I also think the Calgorithm as a sort of a movement was born of the existential crisis in the program when the Pac-12 blew up and things were up in the air, and Cal and Stanford were homeless for a minute there and really uncertain as to whether we were going to be able to make our way into a power conference. And so I think that sort of staring down death as a program and as a fan base unified us and galvanized us in a way that manifested itself in what has happened. And then there was Don Grizel's tweet, and maybe Callie wants to take it from there.
Yeah, I think I can take it from there. In the more modern discussion of the Calgorithm, once the season finally started, it just snowballed from there. With the Auburn game specifically, no one expects Cal or most Pac-12 teams, current or former, to beat SEC teams, but especially Cal. So it kind of gave us this perfect springboard that our friend John Griselle, whose Twitter account is at Goldon Bears, he posted a meme. It was just a picture of a couple of players with some rainbows, Joe Biden, Kamala Harris, some very liberal stuff sprinkled in. And with the text, you just lost to the woke agenda. And I think that was seen by well over 5 million users on Twitter. And that's that was, I would say, that very critical moment where the Calgorithm went from just a group of friends, people just memeing between each other, to the eyes of the nation are upon us and they find us funny. And from there, we kind of became sort of this movement to scream about Cal football in the most entertaining ways possible by both, lightly teasing the team that we're playing that week, but also teasing ourselves in the process. And the college football landscape really liked it. They found what we did really funny and a lot of fun, and not just us saying, well, we've beaten you 8 times in a row or anything like that. It's have you gotten your gender neutral bathrooms yet and stuff like that. So it has become a sort of the focal point for Cal fandom as a whole.
The way that you guys have really leaned into the stereotypical perception of what Cal is all about. And instead of running away from that identity, just really embracing it to kind of ridiculous extents, I think has just been a masterful way to approach it all. And especially, like you said, having this exposure that we're now part of the ACC and you're talking to fan bases and other college programs that we don't typically play. They know nothing about us and they just have those stereotypes to go off of. And then you just really go overboard in that direction. I think that's just been absolutely hilarious for the rest of the country to witness and see.
I want to thank you both for being on here. As Admiral Bear, you call yourself an OG. Look, I graduated in the spring of '83, so I don't know if that's a OD triple G or whatever that is. But welcome to the club, my friend. Welcome to the club.
Thank you.
The other piece is I've had that SEC experience down south, playing against Georgia when Herschel was there, playing against Florida when Chris Collinsworth was there. So it is exciting for me in many ways to see where we are now, not being afraid of where we are around the ACC. And it's a moment in time that has provided this gateway that you all have provided that is just blowing my mind. And I have to thank you for what you did to bring game day to the campus and the opportunity for them to reach out to me so I can let the whole damn world let them know that this is Bear territory. And so I thank you as part of the Bear Territory family for having that love and for having that passion to, as we would say at Berkeley, to step up and speak out in the Berkeley way that you do. And Calgorithm is all about that, and I thank you. One of the things, that I do this Bear Territory thing, and it has truly been a labor of love. So asking you, do you all have a budget, or is this really a labor of love, or a combination of both?
Yeah, that's a great question. So the things that we have done that have required money, we don't have an organized fund or anything like that yet. We've talked about it, and it might happen in the future, but it doesn't exist as of now. It's really just been some members of the Calgorithm that have the means and are able to step up, have really funded some of our endeavors. For the most part, what we do doesn't cost money, but the things that have, we've just relied on the generosity of some of our members, and especially around game day, there were a few things that we did that required some funds, including one of my favorites was we took a lot of our memes and blew them up onto poster boards, and then me and a few other Calgorithm people handed them out at the graduate at the hotel to students, and gave them away for free. And basically it was just, hey, if you promise that you'll do everything you can to get this on TV, it is yours. And so, what was funny was, Tyler Tomei was sort of spearheading that and sort of running point and getting the word out. And he heard back from a few students who said, hey, we're interested, we'll be there. But we didn't really know. We showed up with 60, 70 signs, and we had no idea whether we were even going to be able to give all of them away or even half of them. We didn't know if anyone was going to show up. And the signs were gone within 10 minutes. It was incredible. Just a line out the door of students who were just eager to get signs from us, and some of them just eager to meet some of us. It was incredible. Another thing I was really proud of that we did that did require some money was a good friend of ours who we met at one of our tailgate parties, a kid who goes to Auburn. We flew him out for game day and put him up in a hotel, and just sort of because we liked him. And he ended up meeting Kirk Herbstreit, and there's a great video of him chasing down Kirk Herbstreit's golf cart and petting his dog. And so we've been able to fund the things that we need to fund just through the generosity of some of our members.
If I can jump in,
Yeah.
Just about everything we do is done freely and passionately and for the love of the game. So we'll use, free programs like video editing software, CapCut, or photo editing software like Canva. And then for other things, when it's needed, we have this network of people that are just as passionate about the sport, just passionate about making memes, and who have some disposable income that are willing to, spend it on the Calgorithm. So whether it's a project where it requires money, like the Ought to Go song, or getting like myself or friends to a game, or paying for tickets or parking passes, or paying for tailgate space. We have people. It's very disorganized and sort of crowd-funded, but we kind of know at the end of the day, if we need to get something done, there are people that are willing to front money to make sure that whatever it is we do, it's going to rock.
I'll tell you, I was getting pelted with emails from a guy by the name of Robbie Robinson, who follows you and everything else that's going on. And he's saying to me, yeah, you need to be on game day. You need to be on game day. And there was some stuff going on in my life that I was really active in at the time, in politics. And he says, look at your email. Flip over to my email. And he said, before you flip over, I just volunteered you for something. I was like, man, I don't have time for volunteer. What? And so I look at the email. He's sending it to the AD. He's saying to the AD, hey, you need to have a mod on to do bear territory. And I click on the CC, and it's like this long list of people. And I'm like, dude, what did you just do? And a day later, it's now sent to Chancellor Lyons. I was like, what are you doing? What are you doing? What are you doing? And then this list is like the A list, right? All these big wigs. And I'm like, dude, what are you doing? I am 64 years old. I've seen game day before. That little platform won't hold my body, and I'm afraid of falling off into the pit. And then they're like, have you seen the algorithm? Then I get a call. ESPN. And so I'm like, am I doing this? And they're like, you should get a call soon. Huh? What? Yeah. Are you ready? I said, yeah, I'm ready to do this. I went and bought a whole bunch of Tiger Balm. I started stretching, doing yoga. Get into that Berkeley transcendental. I'm like, I got to do hot yoga now because I'm getting ready to do this. Crazy story, but real quick, you all are such that motivation that when I got up there, I am thinking, oh, good, Calgorithm's going to run this. I don't want them to blow it. I don't want to be that guy. I take my asthma inhaler out of my pocket and give it to my god sister. She said, what are you doing? Aren't you going to need that? I'm not going to pull that out in front of 10,000 people. Later she said, "What are you tripping for? Marshawn pulled out his vape. You're tripping."
That's right.
So the next question with all that really brings it to that, how this has generated so much out there. How do the fan bases from other schools react to you?
Yeah. So first off, Vaughn, I just want to say it was necessary to start off the first game day in the history of Berkeley exactly the way it started off. We needed that, and we needed you. So thank you. It was perfect, and set the vibe, set the tone, and told everybody right away what this was going to be about. So thank you.
The chaos,
yes,
all the chaos that happened in the lead up to it. That's Calgorithm, to its core. There is no planning. It's just, it's happening. We're doing this now. We're switching and moving in different directions at any given moment. And that's just what you went through. I'm so glad that I got to hear this story, because what you went through is exactly what we've been doing all season.
Yeah, and just picking up on that vibe. But you asked about other fan bases and how they've reacted. And honestly, this is one of the things I'm most proud of about the Calgorithm, is that, we're new to the ACC. We're the new kids on the block. It was weird, right? What is California's in the Atlantic Coast Conference? What are we doing? And there was a lot of skepticism, and there were a lot of fan bases on the East Coast were like, why do we have Cal? 3 of them voted against us, right? Yeah. And one of the things I'm most proud of is that when we'd play a team and we'd interact with them all week, and we'd, send them memes, pick on them, they pick on us, we pick on ourselves. And by the end of the week, I would get so many messages, DMs, and people responding to memes that just said, I am so glad that we invited Cal to the ACC. I'm so glad we have Cal in the ACC now. You guys welcome home. This is where you belong. And we're happy to have you. And what an asset it is to have this program as part of our conference. And so that was a major goal of mine throughout this thing. And I think a major goal of all of ours was to sort of show the ACC that, hey, we're here to make an impact. We belong. You're going to love us. I know you're skeptical. I don't blame you for being skeptical, but you're going to like having Cal as part of this conference. And I think that we went a long way to accomplishing that. The way that we interact with other fan bases, because a lot of what you see on Twitter when fan bases interact with each other is hostile. A lot of it is, they're talking smack at each other, and sometimes it's good natured, but sometimes it's not. Sometimes they're going after each other. And so I always made a point of our interaction with other fan bases was going to be good natured. It was going to be all in fun. We weren't going to cross lines. We were going to have a good time and interact with each other in a positive way. Another thing, we need people to come to Cal games, including opposing fans. And now we're asking a lot of our opposing fan bases, we're asking them to fly across the country to be here, right? So I want people to know, hey, you come to Berkeley on a game day, you're going to have a great time. And the fan base is going to show you a great time. We're going to have fun. Come to our tailgate party. Come hang out with us. Come to Raleigh's. I'll buy you a beer and I'll show you what Bear Territory is all about. And that's the vibe. That's the vibe we wanted to put out there. And I think that that's what we accomplished.
Without question. You talked about how we were looking down the barrel of a gun, essentially, and just staring death in the face for the football program and possibly all of our different sports that Cal sponsors. And to think that you guys just dug deep and just decided, I'm thinking back, I remember vividly watching when we played against Florida State, and we had that opportunity to go down there to Tallahassee to beat them. And if we beat them, it was like, no question, game day's coming to Berkeley. But we didn't, we didn't win. And then there was that bye week, and it was like, oh no, I guess we just lost our opportunity. It's not going to happen. And somehow by sheer force of will, it seems, you guys just said, no, we're going to make that happen. And you made Cal relevant. Now that is really, I think, the biggest takeaway from all of this, is that you brought a whole new way for Cal to be relevant in the perception of the sports
community. You know, if we're not doing it on the field, you're doing it in social media. And it's just incredible to think how much that has had an impact on the perception of Cal around the country. I liken it to back when Jason Kidd was playing at Cal, and no one really knew about Cal basketball anywhere. And after I graduated, I went on a little trip through Europe and was talking to some people from another country, and they're like, you went to Cal? Do you know Jason Kidd? It was like, you know, that. It was like wherever you were, all of a sudden Cal was on the map. And anyway, I digress a little bit, but I wanted to ask because, you know, there have been numerous things between the tweet after the Auburn game that really raised the profile and got people interested. Like you said, over 5 million people viewing that tweet. But to me, the Jaden Ought to Go song in particular was like next level. You know, what was the inspiration behind doing all of that? How did you put it together? Tell us a little bit about the singer Mickey out there. I guess she's in Sweden, I believe.
Yes. Yeah, Sweden.
Yeah.
Would love to hear that story.
Sure.
You know, it kind of started from this obviously going off my memory. It just started as somebody making a joke tweet, or not a joke tweet, but in our group chat saying, you know, the Hot to Go song by Chapel Roan, we could easily just replace hot with ought, and it's ought to go. And, you know, obviously everybody in the group chat had a good laugh about it, hee, but who wants to put in that kind of effort? And then a friend of ours reached out to us, I guess individually, and was like, hey, he's at NYT Wordlebot on Twitter. He just kind of reached out and said, what if we actually did it? And got us all together and was basically like, what do you guys think? Do you think we can actually do this? Like make a parody song? Would this hit? And I said immediately, yeah, we should do it. And it kind of snowballed, as things usually do, snowballed from there. He ended up going on a website, kind of like Fiverr, where you can find artists who will do stuff, you know, sing a song for you, et cetera, for money. And he found, I think, 3 artists. We listened to their demo track, and we ended up picking Mickey H, who she's from Sweden. She knows nothing about college football, has basically no idea what Cal is until she got the job and accepted it. We got the song back, we listened to it, and we're like, God damn, this is catchy, this is great. And then the Admiral and our friend and a few others worked on the lyrics, and then they sent it off to me to make the music video that a lot of people have seen. And yeah, it was a group effort. Everybody put in a lot of passion and a lot of work into it, especially our singer and our lyricists. They did a fantastic job taking an already catchy song and making it just perfect for celebrating Cal and celebrating our favorite running back.
Right.
Yeah,
And
absolutely.
That is amazing. That's great. I love it. Love it.
I was just going to add to that just a couple things. You know, they played that. I wanted to hear about your reaction because you were there at game day, and then on the big video boards, they start playing Ought to Go. And what was your reaction? How did that all go down during game day itself?
It was surreal.
Yeah. We were standing right next to each other because we live near each other. We travel together a lot for games. So we were standing right next to each other when it happened.
Right. Yeah. Standing side by side. And what was interesting was, you know, we had kind of talked before game day a little about, do you think they might play Ought to Go during game day? And like, you know, part of why I was skeptical was nobody had reached out to any of us. And so, you know, I thought, well, if ESPN were going to play it, they'd at least tell us. Maybe they'd feel like they need permission, like, you know, and nobody got any word about it. And then, right, we're standing there and it went into a commercial break and, you know, the crew is moving around, and then just on the screen pops up the visual, the graphic that Callie made for the video. And we just looked at each other like, oh my God, this is actually happening. The entire experience was already spectacular, just being around so many passionate Cal fans, and the Campanile was lit up with the Cal logo projected on it. The library was lit up in blue and gold, and everything was just beautiful and perfect. And then in front of me flashes the video of the song that I helped write, and me and thousands of my best friends are singing along with a song that we created. It was really a surreal moment, and one that I'll never forget.
Definitely, yeah. As soon as the first image or graphic, if you will, of the video is a picture of the Cal logo, and then on the little flourish at the end of the tail, I added Gorhythm, so it's Calgorithm. So I was like, we need a logo of some kind. And as soon as that popped up on all the video screens, my heart quite literally stopped beating for a second. I was just in shock, and I turned to Admiral. We both kind of just silently are like jaws on the floor looking at each other, and then we hear the song start. Yeah, it was a very euphoric moment. We were, hugging, jumping up and down, singing the song. A friend of mine sent a video that he had shot on his phone this morning, actually, of his view of when it started. And you can actually kind of just very faintly hear Admiral's voice as he's singing along, and you can hear me screaming a couple of times. And it was incredible. I have seen so many shots of not only like just the video screens, but of people around in Memorial Glade. I think there's one, my favorite is of the Cal band actually doing the dance during the chorus. I still struggle to put words to the emotions that went through us as it happened, and I really don't think I'm ever going to feel something like that again.
Crazy. Look here, you all know I have the same feeling. I mean, I get a text from a frat brother in Georgia. He said, I was awakened by a text from your niece, his daughter. She said when she saw the bear territory and I to go, all this was going on, she said, that's my Uncle Ahmad. That's my Uncle Ahmad, from the living room of her apartment in Madrid, Spain. So I thank you all so much. I mean, it's just crazy, but you all have tipped the scale. If I kid you not, I'm here to tell you, I saw the Campanile lean, the way that you all have put this together with Calgorithm, and there's nothing else like it. And I'm just wishing you all the greatest success. I have one question, which is sort of my question I ask, and I know we have some other stuff, but I got to do it because you got me fired up now. It is, what has been your bear territory moment? You speak of this, but what has been your bear territory moment where you said, "Huh, this is happening. This is happening."
There have been so many incredible moments throughout this, and one of them, maybe the key one for me, was the one we just described, where standing next to Callie, watching thousands of people sing along to a song that I contributed to writing and that she put the video together for. But I mean, a number of other things, and surrounding Ought to Go, hearing Reese Davis sing it was hilarious, and mention it, during when he was doing play-by-play. I also heard that Cade Luave had been kind of trolling Jaden at practice. He's stretching, and Cade would come up behind him and be like, O-T-T-T-O-G-O. And it's just like, shut up, man. Jaden did DM me to tell me how much he appreciated our song, and that was great to receive too, and just to know that he heard it and appreciated it. So everything around the song has been fantastic. Another thing that has been eye-opening in terms of the impact that we've had is how many people, but up until a couple years ago, I was a lot more protective about my identity, and I've been looser about that this year. Met people in person, talked to people, and how many people, when I tell them my Twitter identity, just light up. Like, oh my God, you're Admiral Bear. I can't believe I'm meeting you in person, et cetera, et cetera. And it's surreal and a real manifestation of being someone who's really a core part of this Calgorithm thing that I've really appreciated and enjoyed. And that's been a super cool experience. The people I've gotten to meet through the Calgorithm has been incredible, both members and fans and appreciators. Doing media interviews, especially the week up until game day. I talked to ESPN, we talked to USA Today, someone from the Merc, national and local news people wanted to talk to us. That was amazing, especially considering where we came from. I mean, we've been doing this stuff for a long time, but nobody cared. It was just our little group of friends having fun together, and it became something much, much more.
Obviously, planning ought to go at game day. Reese Davis talking about singing and still talking about ought to go to this day. Both very like, oh my God, this is so real. This is something that I have put out that, you know, has stuck in the college football landscape and is known. I think something kind of more on a like two notes that are kind of more on a personal scale, I guess. The first time I went to a tailgate with these guys and met the Calgorithm in person, I kind of awkwardly walked up to the tailgate, introduced myself to a guy that I kind of already knew in advance, dropped off some beer as per protocol, and then a guy came up to me, and he just said, "Are you woke mob football?" And that was just like this isn't just like a we're having fun kind of thing. This is a like people know who I am sort of moment. And that person happened to be Nam Lay, who is one of our big leaders, and he introduced me to Admiral Bear, tons of other people, and we just immediately became very fast friends. The other thing, which is super personal, is my dad has obviously been into Cal football for decades now, close to like at least 40 years. He graduated in the mid 80s, and he has obviously from years of kind of mediocrity within the football program, he's taken a step back from football, from being a fan. We still went to a game occasionally, but it was usually the FCS game, so we could guarantee Cal would win and have a nice time. But this season, especially after game day, but also in the leading up to it, my dad started talking me up about Cal football. He started talking about the players in detail with me, going over like, okay, Keiruluave, he's a monster on the field and he's only going to get better. Teddy Buchanan was an incredible grab from UC Davis. Fernando Mendoza, Jaden Knott are going to be powerhouses on offense. And when he said to me at one point, I think it was game day I think it was in between game day and the actual Miami game. He said like, listen, I just want you to know that I'm really proud of what you've done, and very much expressed his appreciation that I love what he has loved for years, and just kind of getting that recognition from my dad, especially from somebody who has kind of pushed himself away due to being hurt so much by Cal football, to come back and saying, I'm so into it and I'm so happy that you're a part of it and I'm so proud of you. That was like that was my Bear Territory moment of, this is so real. My dad cares about it. Obviously, he'd care about it because I'm his kid, but he cares about Cal football, and he loves the energy. And if I can, touch a guy like his spirit for Cal football, it made how many other people that I have gotten back into the fold, if you will, it made it so much realer for me. So that was truly my Bear Territory moment.
That's just
your
beautiful.
dad, I said, welcome back. And thank you all both for that, because that's special to me. And that is what the passion is all about in Bear Territory. And you all exemplify that.
I mean, getting to see you tell the whole damn world chant was also really high up there. I did not expect that to happen. And I was just ecstatic at 3 or 4 in the morning.
Right. That part. Yes. We'd been waiting decades for college game day to come, and boy, we were
ready.
That was the way to start it. All right.
You guys know they gave us the Herbie Award yesterday, right?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
We won best game day scene of the year, which is a tremendous honor. And something we noticed was that we were the only school game day came to this year that was not in the SEC or Big Ten.
That part, baby.
Yep. And guess who did it best?
Right.
Well, there was the FSU Georgia Tech, but that was in Ireland, so it doesn't count.
That's right.
Yeah. No, I mean, that's just it. When given the opportunity, boy, did the whole Cal community rise to the occasion for that. That was
absolutely
really incredible.
Something. Oh, and shout out, by the way, Bart. We Calgorithm people worked with Bart in the week leading up to game day, because we'd heard a lot of people saying, they rely on Bart for transportation, and it didn't start running until after game day started. And so, gosh, I really want to be there, but I don't think I can make it because I can't get there in time. So we worked with the officials over at BART and talked them into running their trains early to get people there on time. It's a big undertaking. People don't really realize what a big deal it is for BART to have to bring in all the personnel, bring in all the security, get their engineers getting the trains running hours before they normally would. And really, it's only worth it to them if we have quite a few people coming. And so we had to convince them that, hey, look, you run these trains, we promise you they will be full. And they were. And so it ended up being great for everyone involved. And BART's social media has really leaned into the Calgorithm stuff, and they've been great. They're an ancillary Calgorithm account at this point, BART. They're amazing.
One of their chief guys was one of my students at Cal when I was an academic advisor and doing the policy, and he's a Cal Bear guy. So there was a lot of nudging going on.
That doesn't hurt. That doesn't hurt. I could tell we had some insiders there. So that was fantastic. But maybe the first time I really got emotional about what we're doing was when we got word that BART was going to be running the trains early. And it felt like, you know what, we are building a community here. And actual institutions are taking notice, right? It's one thing to send out funny memes and get a lot of likes. It's like, that's great. A lot of retweets, and that's cool. But there's something about that, it's not a tangible thing, right? BART trains running early to get people to game day, that's a tangible thing, right? The advertising that we did to sell tickets to game day using a graphic that I made on an AI platform, which was insane. Seeing that on, at BART stations and grocery stores and on taxi cabs, people were sending me pictures. That was crazy. That was all tangible things that we were really doing out in the real world, not just on the internet. To bring people together and to show everyone that, hey, there's a passionate fan base here in Berkeley, and you give them something to show up for, and they will show up.
Well, this is all about the impact that you guys have had, and it extends beyond game day and with BART, the NIL collective. The fact that you guys...
That was also very tangible. Yeah, I mean, I think it was about $2.5 million that was raised, and in part thanks to the generosity of some particular donors. And I think it might have been Ron Rivera that had a matching thing that week, and I think he put up, was it $1 million that he agreed to match, which is amazing. So we helped the NIL fund. There will be players that are coming to Cal next year that maybe we wouldn't if it hadn't have been for what we did. So that's obviously incredibly gratifying.
Well, we're running a little short on time, so let me kind of wrap up a few things here. One thing that I think we passed over was that Mickey, the singer for Ought to Go, her boyfriend's name is Oscar. Is that right?
His name is right. Oscar, but he goes by Oski. And that's Mickey's boyfriend. That's when we knew it was meant to be. We didn't know that when we hired her. We didn't find that out until after she'd actually turned the song in. She was like, "Oh, your mascot is Oski? That's my boyfriend's name." And we're just like, "Wow." That
felt like divine providence out here.
Exactly.
Right. And how I think we might have skipped over this earlier, but your relation and how you're associated with Right for California. Callie, you are the social media manager for...
Yeah. I handle their social media, specifically their Twitter account. I was a mid-season pickup for them because they saw how much I had grown my account from, starting it out in, I think, early September. And by early October, it was up to about 4,000 followers. So they kind of saw the growth that I was doing and the quality and quantity that I was putting out. And they said, hey, you don't have to do much over here, but if you'd like to be our social media manager, we'd love it. And I immediately jumped at the chance. And so I've been working for Right for California since October.
Yeah, it's great.
Yeah, super smart to grab you and utilize your talents. The Right for California guys, I've never written anything for Right for California, but I've known all of those guys for many, many years. They were smart to grab Callie as soon as they saw how talented and creative she is. They're like, we need her. And she's done great things for them.
And the Right for California crew is just outstanding. I mean, the things that they have done, and then to think that you guys are doing all this on the social media front. I mean, it's just incredible. Those guys are just such talented writers, and all of you are so creative and obviously care so much about the university. Last question here that I need to ask, just because I know that given the way that the social media and burners and all this, you're not showing your faces or sharing your real names, but considering the level of fame that you guys have now achieved, do you anticipate at some point in time revealing your faces and names at some point?
Maybe not my, because I'm going by, Callie's the name, but face, I've kind of left it open. I know that some people are curious, especially those that don't go to the tailgates or the games. So I've left the opportunity to do so. I mean, I'll say it right now. If Cal gets 10 wins next season, I'll do a face reveal immediately, easily. Hell yeah! But
Let's go.
yeah, exactly. Hey Cal, the ball's in your court. Let's get it going. But yeah, I'm for now just kind of leaving it up. I do enjoy being a bit anonymous, and yeah, we'll see what happens next year.
I just have to jump in real quick because I think it was so cute. Something about how the day after you did all the video and everything for Ought to Go, that there was a coworker of yours who came by and showed it to you because he went to Cal, and he's like, "Hey, you got to check this out. This is so awesome. Have you seen this?" And you're just like, yeah.
Yeah, no, that was a very, it was a fearful moment for me at the very least, just because, obviously you put something out, you don't expect anything to happen with it. And you certainly don't expect people that are just not as into Cal football to say anything. But yeah, no, it was an incredible moment, and I decided in the moment that I wasn't gonna out myself to him. So I was like, oh yeah, I've seen that. It's really funny. I love it.
So my main purpose with regard to anonymity is just keeping my professional and my personal life separate. I don't mind Cal fans knowing who I am and what I look like and all of that, but it has to be sort of, I have to be selective about who I reveal myself to some degree,
Mm-hmm.
just because, I own my own business, and, I don't want that to become an issue professionally. And I know there's a number of other Calgorithm folks who maintain anonymity for similar reasons. I like to joke that I was a burner before it was cool, because there's a whole sort of burner community now, and it's mostly young people. A lot of them, frankly, are former players. And so there's this whole community of anonymous Cal accounts, and it's become sort of a fashionable thing to do now to have a burner account. But I've had one forever, and so I like to say I was a burner before it was cool. I'm a burner hipster.
It probably makes a lot of sense to kind of keep your anonymity, especially, if you're trying to court Stanford alums for business or anything like that. Probably
Correct.
a good idea.
Correct. Yeah, you never know if I find myself in a situation in the future where I'm working with folks from opposing fan bases or anything like that. If I said something along the way that rubbed them the wrong way or something, that might not be great. Also, as you noted, although it's news to me, I don't really check my numbers that way, but you said that I posted something like 25,000 tweets. So I might have some clients who might think, hey, that's a lot of tweeting. Are you sure that you're working on my project the way you should be? So I don't need those kind of questions in my life either. I can manage both, but I don't need that scrutiny. So so I don't think I would ever reveal myself publicly or online, but like I said, I have gotten a lot looser this year about meeting people in person and telling them my real identity. I've met a number of fans from other fan bases, other ACC fans as well, met them in person, gotten together. That's been a really fun thing too, is, now really anytime I go to an away game, I have a built-in group of people who are ready to welcome me and would be thrilled to have Admiral there at their tailgate, right? So that's been a really fun thing and a kind of nice little fringe benefit for all of the, otherwise free work I've put in.
Well, Ahmad and I really just can't thank you both enough.
Yeah.
I mean, the creativity and passion that you guys have brought to this to elevate and make Cal relevant. The way I say again is like, it's outstanding. The confluence of all the factors that have come into play for you to rise up at this critical juncture and make Cal relevant again. It's insane and beautiful, and really can't thank you enough and applaud you for all your efforts. And thank you again so much for making the time today. Thank
you very much. Go Bears.
Yeah. Go Bears.
Go Bears.
Thank you for having us. This has really been a pleasure, and it's been great to speak with you guys. An honor to talk with you, Ahmad. And like I said before, there was the correct way to start game day was the way we started it. So thank you for stepping up and for doing that for us and for the community and everything that you guys have done for the community and are continuing to do through this podcast and otherwise. We're all in this together. We all have a common goal, and that's to show the whole damn world this is better territory.
We are together. Thank you so much.
Yeah, thank you for having us on. A big fan of you guys, and I'm looking forward to hearing and hopefully being on again.
Yes, you guys are welcome anytime. Seriously. Thank you guys so much. All right. Go Bears.
Go Bears.
Bears.
It's a little hard for me to believe that was almost 15 months ago now. I certainly had a little way to go to find my footing as a podcast host. We really appreciate Admiral Bear and Callie Wake for making the time. And hey, can't get enough of the Calgorithm? You'll want to get your hands on the book entitled Calgorithm Volume 1, a people's anthology of the 2024 season. They've already sold out, but you can visit tinyurl.com/Calgorithm to express your interest in getting your hands on a copy. Thank you so much for tuning in today. We appreciate you listening and watching. And remember, if you live in Richmond, please give your vote to my co-host, Ahmad Anderson, to be the next mayor of Richmond. There's no question he will do wonders for the city of pride and purpose. This podcast is entirely a labor of love and a reflection of how much we love our university. Please help grow this podcast by telling the whole damn world about us. You can always go to our YouTube channel to watch any of our previous episodes. And if you'd like to buy some awesome TTWDW merchandise to help support the podcast, you can always go to tellthewholedamnworld.com. We celebrate all things Cal and the prominent people who are passionate about the University of California. Do you feel Cal is the center of the universe? Do you bleed blue and gold? We want you to tell the whole damn world about it. Go Bears!
You know it.